What's going on, people? So, regardless of what things you fill your free time with, you've probably got a couple regrets somewhere in there associated with it, right? Things you wish had maybe just gone a little differently. Maybe you're into collecting figures and hunting down that chase wasn't quite worth it because when you got it in hand, you didn't like it so much, right? Maybe you're into fishing or something and you took some long drive to get to wherever and it just didn't work out in your favor. Maybe you're Bret Hart and you regret that time you went to WCW because it did nothing for your career except get you kicked in the head and have it all ended, right? Things happen and sometimes they just don't happen how you want them to. As far as things go for me, I happen to buy a fair amount of shoes, right? And every so often, not super often, but once in a while, something doesn't go my way, and that's what we're here to talk about right now. So, what you see to my left is a couple shoes that, for whatever reason, I do kind of regret buying them. Now, the idea for this came from, I want to say it was DB Kicks during a live that we did at some point. I think McFly also was involved in that conversation in some kind of way. I don't know if either of them ever actually did the videos or not, but I'm doing one, right? And so for anybody that's out there and they're thinking that they're going to also do this, I'm not going to make this a challenge thing because I don't know what kind of free time you're working with, what kind of things you might have going on that get in the way of you doing things and such. So if you want to do it, sure, whatever. But what I will offer is that if you happen to do this and you would like some different eyes to possibly see your video, let me know and I'll get it uploaded to this channel as well, and then maybe a few, like 5 to 6 people might see it that wouldn't normally see it. So there's one of those things for you. I do that all the time. It's a standing offer that I have, but overall, since the dawn of time, only 2 people have taken me up on it. There was that one time with Splash I'm Drippy, we did the whole, was that a Jordan 6 thing, right? Kind of wanted to take a different twist on it, so, and that worked out pretty well. And then at some point later, Logan J, I uploaded his top 10 of the last 10 years video. Though also Twin Jim and I had tried to, well, he wanted to do it. He asked me, set up a Dropbox thing for him to upload his video so I can get it and then put it on the site. And then nothing ever came of it, so I'm not sure what happened with that. So we'll go 2.5. We'll go 2.5. Anyways, let's get into this, right? So first up, we have this is a Jordan box, right? So one of those things. And this right here, if you guess what was in it good for you, you probably didn't know. This right here happens to be a Jordan 6, right? And now some of you out there who pay attention to the ramblings that I say on my channel or on other lives and such, know that I am not a fan of the Jordan 6. I have this because my sister asked for a pair. She's like, oh, you should get a pair too, then we can both have them. And I was like, all right, sure, whatever. And now here we are, right? It's not a bad looking shoe. Unfortunately, it feels just awful, right? It feels like you're walking around in like I don't know, a shoe made out of a 2x4 or something. And I'm just not about that. But again, it's a decent look, right? Because it doesn't look like the standard 6. I don't like the 6 tongues and a lot of things about them. But overall, it does fall into the regret category because I just don't like it. I don't like that I spent money on it, but it was for a good cause. And so that is enough for me to be not fully hating it, but mostly. Next up, we have this right here. Remember this box? It was a big thing in the early part of last year for reasons that made sense at the time. This is the Northern Lights Air Max 720, right? Depending on who you ask, not a bad looking shoe. I mean, I'm looking at it now for the first time in a while and I'm like, But anyways, here's the thing, right? When these were coming out, I'm a big Air Max guy. I don't know if I've ever mentioned that. I am though. So when these were coming out, I thought to myself, I'd like to get those and see what they're all about, right? And they came out and they sold out instantly. So I'm thinking, okay, well, let me go to one of these other sites, one of these overseas sites like End or wherever it was. I don't have the papers in here. It might have been a few, but either way, I got these from one of those other sites, right? So I had to pay a little bit more just because of the extra shipping and all that nonsense. And I think they didn't ship to Korea, so I had to have them sent to my mom's house, and then she sent them to me. It was this whole ordeal to get this shoe, which I, in the end, did not like. It's not comfortable. It looks a little odd at times. depending on which colorway you're looking at. And overall, I'm just not happy with it, right? And then you add in the fact that I spent a bunch of extra money and stuff for it. And then I saw them everywhere, locally anyway, where I was living at the time. Could have just bought my own pair right there and paid less because, you know, when you do the $1 to dollar ratio or conversion, you come out on top if you're spending dollars, right? Yep. Not the greatest investment, but you know, whatever. But it seems like it didn't work out for Nike overall. They threw this big old bubble on so many things, and none of them were cared about, at least by the general public. And now we move on to the final piece of this puzzle. I'll give you that. Yeah, some of you guys probably recognize that, right? Maybe. Anyways, it is a Kyrie 2 box. So this is the Kyrie 2, and I want to say light bone from the summer pack, maybe 2017 perhaps? I can't quite remember for sure, but I'm thinking 17. Anyways, so I got this, and I also got a Kobe 11, I want to say, that came out of this same pack. But anyways, that's besides the point. What is not besides the point is why I don't like it. And you can kind of tell looking at it, maybe, that like these things look a little long, right? Yeah, that's the problem to me. I'm not a big guy, right? If 1127 Kicks asks, say I'm 6'5", because he's buying into that thing for some reason. But I'm 5'6", right? And you just flip it around. But anyways, so when I wear something like this, they have a bit of a clown shoe sort of vibe, and I'm not really about that. You know, I'm a very serious guy. I can't present myself like a joke if I don't think I'm a joke, right? It's just not right. Anyways, so I have these, and I had originally bought the 9.5. Didn't fit how I wanted it to, right? A lot of people say these are a little short. So I went up a half, and I got this 10, and they fit better, right? But they just look worse. Because sometimes as you go up in size, that's what happens. So yeah, man, these right here, the Kyrie 2, it's a nice looking shoe. It really is. In this particular color, this particular model, huge fan of it. But, you know, it is what it is. So those are my 3 that I have some regrets on buying. Now I'm going to give you an extra 3, a little bonus 3, right? These are ones that I didn't get, but kind of wish that I had, you know, the other side of that puzzle. First and foremost, the UNC Up Tempos. I don't remember when those came out, but I remember seeing them in the El Paso malls for a while, and I could have got my pair easily. And I just kept waiting, thinking, no, they'll go on sale. And then one day I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna buy them, forget it. Like, I've waited long enough. I go in the store, gone, right? So I'm thinking, all right, well, maybe I can get them somewhere else. You know, look online. Those prices were crazy and still are, so they are not mine and never will be. It's unfortunate, but it happens. Another shoe that comes to mind that I kind of missed out on, the Hyper Crimson ones from last year. I didn't think that I'd have a good chance at getting them, or whatever the case was, because I remember just looking at them, I was like, forget it, I'm just not even gonna bother. And then later, I saw how easily most people got them, and I saw them with those orangish pinkish laces in there. And I thought to myself, well, this is clearly something that I would have wanted. So that's kind of on me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I thought that they weren't worth getting. Should have done my research. Always do your research, people. But I didn't, you know what I'm saying? And now I have missed out on those. And then the last piece of this puzzle. I was going to go with the Cone 98s because those stand out in my mind. But then I got to thinking, and I was like, nope. It's actually going to be another Jordan 1. This time a mid and more of a Hornets colorway. Same story as I said with the UNC Up Tempos. I saw them for a while. They were sitting there just being mid-price, which is like $100 or something. And I kept putting off buying them. And then when I went to buy them, they were nowhere to be found, right? So it happens, and obviously it happens more than once because I haven't completely learned, but the thing is, if you wait long enough, lots of times you do get better deals, right? It happens. Sometimes you get no deal whatsoever because it just doesn't work out, but sometimes it does. And it's something that happens just often enough that I'm going to continue to wait for these sales, right? Because at the end of the day, what this really comes down to, if I don't get something, I'm still gonna be okay, right? Those last 3 to 4 shoes that I talked about, I don't have them and I'm doing just fine. I've got a bunch of stuff over there to keep my mind off of it, and I really only think about it at times like this anyway. So there you go, there's that for you. But for now, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this thing up, get this up there and out to the internet and all that good stuff, because I gotta do a little live thing tonight. We're gonna be talking about SummerSlam and things, not just this year's SummerSlam, but all the SummerSlams, or at least the moments that stand out to us. But anyways, if you want to come by, come on by. It'll be on the internet, so again, if you have access to the internet, you have access to the video. So there you go. All right, but for now, have a nice rest of your day or rest of your night, whatever it is, wherever you are. I've got some things to do, as I just said, and maybe you've got some things to do too. All right, later people.